Surround yourself with good energy. For you to keep moving forward, you are valid. Regardless, you never know who's excited or happy to see every single day. Hey, awesome people, this is John, your English speaking Robin channel, and welcome to another episode of Wednesdays with Awesome John. So, what's your pandemic story? I remember clearly that was August 25th, 2019, when I went to Davao City for a new job, for a new opportunity. I was having second thoughts at that time because I felt like it would be the farthest employment so far. This will be my first. I just took a chance. I took the risk. We all need to grow up. We all need to be independent. We all need to grow out of our comfort zone. And then it was in March 2020 when we have received that news from the television that the entire country is going to implement border lockdowns. But at the beginning, it was like, okay, we just need to follow because this is for our safety. Until policies were becoming more strict, were becoming more serious. People can't go to work. People can't work on site. We are all sent home to work virtually, though our job was really an online job, but we just work on site. So we were all advised to just stay home to be safe. Our movements were very limited at that time. We can't go to department stores or groceries, or we can go to markets or supermarkets without the pass. Everything is starting to sink in. There are questions like, is this going to be better in the coming weeks or in the coming months? Or it's like month after month or weeks after weeks. You're getting to start being paranoid. It's like you're developing anxiety. You have questions, a lot of questions, but you still keep holding on. Like you still keep working. You still trying to be positive in a way. You're trying your best to be positive. You started thinking if you'd ever get a chance to go back home. Started thinking if you'd be able to see your family again, because you never know. You hear from the news, the number of cases are increasing day after day, and the number of death cases are also increasing. And you'd hear news or sad news about the death of a friend's relative or a friend's family member, or even your relative or whatnot. It makes you question or ask yourself if you'd be able to get back home, if you'd be able to see your family again. Well, you're trying your best to keep yourself safe from the virus and working at the same time and dealing with those questions in mind, dealing with anxiety. And then there was a time when like my housemates were also going back to their hometown. I was left alone, and that made me feel more paranoid, more anxious. I was not feeling good, not feeling well, until I felt like I was so depressed. I felt so alone. So it was a point of our life when you don't feel certain about everything around you. You're not sure. Anybody can just get infected with the virus. One day you'll hear someone got it. And then during those times, you're dealing with the situation by yourself. I mean, you were at that point of your life and you're not sure about surviving the situation. It's either you get sick and die of COVID, or you die of anxiety or depression. It was difficult. It was hard, especially when you're away from your home, from your family. Worse is you were alone, literally alone in your own apartment. But thank God there's God. Thank God there's God who gives you messages through what you are reading. Thank God there's our daily bread. Thank God there's enlightening messages. And yeah, it's true. God will never leave you nor forsake you, because He sends you the right people who would be helping you along the way. Thank God I have my office mates, my colleagues. Thank God I have friends back home. I have family back home. And thank God there's technology, there's internet connection so we can still talk to our families to our loved ones. We can still talk to our friends and try to lift each other up, try to share things, try to share your feelings, try to share your worries. So God really provides what you need at the moment. But apart from thinking of your own situation, you can also see how desperate people around you are. People are losing jobs. Companies are closing because of bankruptcy. Can you imagine during the first month of the lockdown, first or second month, thousands of companies are closed in Davao City alone. Can you imagine how many families were affected? And so on and so forth. That's just in Davao City. So we're talking about the entire nation here. Can you imagine how many families lost their jobs? Can you imagine how many businessmen or business owners lost their companies? Can you imagine drivers, jeepney drivers, bus drivers, everybody? Can you imagine stores that are closing? Can you imagine everybody's affected because of the lockdown and whatnot? Everyone's afraid to go out too because of COVID. And that's what keeps you think more and keeps you paranoid. Every day is not really certain for you. Whether you stay at home, you work from home, or whether you go on site, you work on site. There's no certainty during the time. You really never know. So, what do we do? What do we all do? What's the least thing we can do? We all just surrender ourselves to God. We all just surrender everything to Him. When I got the opportunity to go home, or visit home at least, that was like one of the best moments of my life. Like being able to get home, to see my family. They didn't know I was emotional back then. But I was just very thankful to see them again. And today, seems like everything is going back to our new normal. Can you imagine? After almost 3 years, I felt like we all went on vacation. I felt like the world stopped for a moment. I felt like the year stopped in 2020. I felt like we were all missing for a while. I felt like 2020 was just yesterday. I felt like we all stopped growing. I felt like the world stopped. The entire Earth stopped for a while. And then after 1 second, we are all back here. It's like nothing happened, but of course there's a lot. We know a lot has happened. A lot has changed. But the moment I see my friends, my relatives again after 2.5 years or almost 3 years, I don't know how you would describe it, but to me, I felt like we just got back from a long vacation. But that long vacation took a lot from us, took a lot of time, took a lot of opportunities. Students learned to study from home, virtually. People learn to work from home. Everything has changed. But what have we learned? What has pandemic taught us? To me, it really taught me to value time, because we don't really know when our time would end. I see friends and relatives grieving for the loss of their loved ones. You never really know when your time would be. So time, we value time. Secondly, we value relationship, because again, we don't really know our final hour or final day. People start to forgive each other, to reconcile. Families, relatives, friends try to talk, try to patch things up. I've learned to value relationship, learn to forgive more than to question more, learn to accept more. We've learned to be more practical in many ways. We've learned to value what's really more important. And then I've realized in whatever aspect of life, I felt like this pandemic really was an opportunity for the entire earth to reset. It was like an opportunity for a reset. Maybe in the coming decades, centuries, for sure, not just maybe, this will be part of the history, this pandemic would leave an unforgettable and one of the biggest scars in human life. It affected everybody. So I realized this pandemic is an opportunity for that reset. It all taught us a lot of things. For example, in schools, knowledge is truly important. What if we also try to emphasize or try to value and teach more about kindness, about humanity? Because this pandemic really is teaching us about kindness, about humanity, about empathy, about sympathy. For companies, it might be a good reset for us to value health of the employees, because again, employees are the fuel of the company. So maybe it's the best time for us to really prioritize health and benefits or whatnot. I don't know. And also we value relationship with our colleagues, or as an employer we have to value our relationship with our employees. And for the family, it could be a reset for everybody to just forget about jealousy or envy, competition or whatnot, to value relationship more than any possession or wealth. It's an opportunity for us to truly reimagine our life, to reimagine our system, our culture, to reimagine our way of life, to reimagine our values, our practices. So in the future, God forbid, if crises like this happen again, it won't hit us that hard anymore, because we have learned to be tougher, we have learned to be more practical, we have learned to be more resilient, we have learned to value what's more important. I think it's really all for a better place, for a better world, for a better system, for a stronger system. So I hope you've also thought of what this pandemic has taught you. I hope that you'd be able to evaluate your life, your values, your priorities. And personally, I still have to reassess my plans, my decisions. So, well, I hope you've also learned to reassess yourself, reassess your life and decisions, because I do. Well, if you have some thoughts to share, just leave your comments down below. And if you want to share your story too, please just leave your comments down below and let us know what you have learned or what pandemic has taught you. If you like this content, please don't forget to share this or tag your friends or comment. Leave your comments down below. You may suggest some topics that you want me to talk about. I hope everything is well with you, and sending my prayers to everybody. I hope you keep yourself safe. So if you're new to this channel, please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Hey Awesome John, and follow me on my other social media platforms. That's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Kumu, and TikTok. The same username, Hey Awesome John. And please don't forget to click the notification bell button to get updates. Alright, so that's it for today. Don't forget to be awesome. Surround yourself with good energy. For you to keep moving forward, you are valid. Regardless, you never know who's excited or what you're happy to see every single day.